What do you think, Mike? You ready?
I'm ready when you are.
All right. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us. This is the first series, excuse me, of the AIA Coffee with an Architect that I'm hosting. I'm the new Allied Director for AIA this year, and my guest, Mike Delgado, is joining us. So without further ado, let's get started. So Mike, some history. Where did you grow up? Where did you go to school? Is architecture something you always wanted to do? If you give us some background. And folks, if you don't mind, would you please mute yourselves? Thank you.
Yeah, sure. So I originally from Buffalo, New York. Go Bills. I moved to Las Vegas in the late 70s with my family, started kindergarten here, and eventually went to Valley High School and to UNLV. And that was kind of my path. I worked in a one firm before this one. I've been at this firm now for, this is my 25th year, and 20th as a partner. And I have two awesome partners, Rick Sellers and Michelle Brigida. And we have 26 people here that are truly amazing, that really make us look good. So that's kind of a brief about my path.
That's awesome. So being in Vegas that long, what surprises you most after 30 years in the industry?
You know, I feel like I appreciate Vegas is still a small town. Even though, you know, when my family moved here and I was young, it was probably 300,000 people. But even though how much it's grown, it's still a small town. And people I worked with 30 years ago are still a lot of the same people I work with now, a lot of the same clients, same engineers, same contractors. So that's pretty cool. But I also think, you know, the industry's become way more collaborative. And for me, that's become way more enjoyable. I think when we're all working together, you know, on the client side, contractor side, architects, engineers, and we're all working together for the client and to achieve a project, it's a lot more fun.
Sure.
And I definitely don't miss the days where everybody was kind of in their corner, right? Getting ready for the argument.
Yes. You, excuse me, your market sector experience spans higher education, pre-K, office, retail, public works, federal, recreational, and hospitality. Do you have a favorite market sector? And if so, why?
No, not really. I really enjoy, I enjoy learning, and I enjoy learning about the client, learning about the project. And so I guess my favorite is the one that is evolving, the one that is changing, or the new one that I haven't worked a lot in, because it gives me an opportunity to really learn a lot about what it is we're doing, right? The design is ultimately the solution to the needs the client has. So I really don't, there's not one that I really enjoy more than others.
Okay.
As long as it's a public project, you know, we stay away from things like prisons or some of that type of work. I don't think I would enjoy that, but the work that we do, I do really enjoy.
Do you have a favorite project?
No, I think I heard somebody say once, it's like asking who your favorite kid is.
Sure.
But I don't have one in particular, but I'd say my favorite projects are the ones where the people that you work with throughout the entire project are just fun to work with, and you're all proud of what you're doing together.
Definitely. Will you share with our audience your design philosophy?
Yeah, for us, it's really about listening to the client, understanding what their needs are, and then really involving them in the process. We like our architects to know why for all our decisions that we made, from the simplest decisions to the most complex. It's really cool for us when a client can speak about the project in the same detail we can, because they felt involved in that whole process. So the more we can share with them, the better for us. I think we certainly want to have, you know, as you can see from our portfolio, we're very much enjoy contemporary design. And we really want to focus on details. Our favorite saying is design is in the details. And so if we can find those really interesting opportunities, those interesting moments in the design, to make our projects special, but maybe you don't always know why. Like if you're in a space or you're next to a building we designed, if there's something that just feels really good, but you're not sure what it is, that's okay, right? Because just all those details, how a building touches the ground, turns a corner, touches the sky, what you experience when you go through a space, those are all things we really spend a ton of time talking about. And I think are important to our clients.
How does sustainability play a role or play into the approach of your project and the overall design? I know your lead AP. Is that something that's important to your firm and important to your projects?
Absolutely, and it always has been. We strongly believe you start with the basics. The basics that don't require technology, the things we as architects are taught. You know, if you see it in buildings that were done thousands of years ago, right? We don't believe in like creating a problem and then solving it with the technology or solving it with a solution. So, you know, basics of solar orientation and good siting of the building, you know, just smart design basics is the most important piece. And then you layer on the technology piece. Education's a big part of that. And that's changed a lot, right? Because we used to have to fight to do things that were sustainable approaches, especially if you start involving any kind of technology, because clients just have the perception that just costs more. And certainly over the last decade or more, that's changed, where clients are coming and they want something that has sustainable strategies. So it's made it easier for us, but that doesn't change that you take care of the low-hanging fruit first.
Do you feel like clients are more sophisticated? The expectation is that's part of the design and not the stamp of approval?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. You know, even things like LEED, clients, I think it got clients thinking and got them curious. But now I think there's just an expectation that if you know you hire an architect, that they're going to incorporate those features within a project, you know, barring anything that's cost prohibitive or not appropriate for our client, right?
Sure.
So I do think there's an expectation there from the clients.
Awesome. A lot of the members watching are allied members. You know, how do they get to know you and CSD better, and have an opportunity to work with you? What are you looking for in a partner, an industry and allied partner?
You know, so we've all been here a long time, right? So we're looking for genuine relationships, people that are going to be there, people that when there's a fire are going to sprint to that fire with us, not run away, certainly not, you know, put flames on the fire or put fuel on the fire. So yeah, I mean, the work should be fun. It shouldn't be a grind. So having people that you really enjoy working with is really important to us. You know, friendships through work is important.
Absolutely. What does the next decade look like for you personally, and for your firm, and what you'd like to see in the industry?
You know, I think we have some amazing people at our firm that are, you know, that want to grow and do more. And sometimes that just means more complex projects. You know, I think we're constantly trying to become smarter. Certainly, AI is going to play a role in business. I don't know how much it will play in design, right? Because that's dangerous, and not a big fan of that. And but I think as a business, we're going to continue to evolve. We're going to continue to do more complex projects, foster relationships. I still think we'll stay rooted here in this community as we have. For me personally, I just want to continue to have fun, right? And really just have some great friendships through work, and you know, try to do everything I can to make it enjoyable, not just for me, but everybody that works at our firm.
Awesome. Wow. Well, those are my questions.
That was too quick.
I have some fun questions. Does anybody in the audience have anything for Mike? Feel free to unmute or put it in the chat if you have a question for him.
Hey, Mike, this is
Hey, Mark.
Mark. I do have a question.
Sure.
So you have two sons that you're very proud of. Come on, who is your favorite son? We won't tell. We won't tell anybody. No.
That is very true. I'm very proud of my boys.
So, but when it comes to your family and your work and your leadership, how do you balance that with your family? Because obviously you're a busy guy, and what kind of traits and message do you send your boys to learn from what you do as a leader?
Thanks for that question, Mark. Well, first and foremost, no matter what, and this is because I give a lot of credit to Rick Sellers, because he instilled this in me even before I was a partner, but even after I was a partner, right? Family comes first, no matter what. I have worked incredibly hard my entire career to never miss anything important. I missed one game of all the games my kids played in baseball, soccer, football, hockey, basketball. I only missed one game, and it kills me to this day. And it was because of a flight that got delayed like 5 hours. So it's important to me that I remember the one game I missed and not the few games I went to, right? And not just sports, but anytime my kids have had anything at school, I'm always there. And nothing's more important to me than that. And I think what's cool about that is Rick and Michelle, my partners, they do the same for their families. So I think just showing up and showing my kids that, they are the most important thing in my world, regardless of what's going on, is important. Certainly have turned down project opportunities where I've had to travel, turn down leadership on different boards and stuff because of that. So I think they know how important they are to me, not just my kids, but my wife as well. But yeah, I think it's hard as an architect sometimes, and not just an architect, but a lot of us are on the call, are engineers and such, that, sometimes we have to put in the long hours. But you definitely have to balance that with doing special things and creating memories with your family. So I don't know if I fully answered all that you asked, but certainly there's nothing more important to me than that.
Thanks, Mike.
Yep.
Awesome. Thanks, Mark. So I've got some fun questions for you if you're game.
Sure.
Are you an early bird or a night owl?
Early bird.
Okay. What's your favorite hobby?
Probably revolves around anything sports. Watching, enjoying it with my friends, my family.
Do you have a favorite sport?
I mean, it's easy to say the Golden Knights right now, for sure. But I don't know. I think for me, it's hockey, the NFL, and college basketball, college football.
Awesome.
Anything UNLV, Buffalo Bills, or Golden Knights.
Okay, perfect. Favorite restaurant in Las Vegas?
Wow.
You have one?
Probably Ferraro's.
Okay. Awesome. You answered favorite sports team, and where can we find you on the weekends?
Often at home with my family, or a sporting event. It's kind of what I'm into, for sure.
Awesome. Well, that's what I have for you, Mike.
Awesome.
Looks like we have a few questions from some of the folks on here. I
Perfect.
want to go over some of the folks who have their hands raised.
Thank you.
Adriana Ganrotki.
You'll want to unmute, Adriana.
I'm sorry. I was so much into the conversation that I forgot to unmute. I enjoyed what Mike said about the kids and the baseball game. And I happened to watch last weekend, I watched Hook, the old movie with Robin Williams, and where he's Peter Pan. It's Dustin Hoffman, the Captain Hook. Watch it because he missed a baseball game. And there is a lot of things happening from that one. I have watched that, long time ago. It's an old movie. But I think what you said about missing a game remind me. So watch it. You will like it again. I don't know if you have seen it, but it's him missing a baseball game and feeling terrible. So anyways, my question, you touched a little bit on the question, but I wanted kind of to brainstorm it with you a little bit more. AI, artificial intelligence, is coming pretty high for us, for architects, and we are structural engineers, and also virtual reality in your case for design. And I was thinking, is there is something you guys are preparing for, investigating, researching about it, doing something? I'm using AI for only emails right now and stuff like that, but we have been trying to do it for software.
Yeah.
So I was just, maybe if you can expand a little bit more on that, that will be great.
Yeah, I think for us, we've been eyes wide open, and there's been certain people in our firm who have even a personal hobby or curiosity. And so that has sparked other people's curiosity in it. Probably like most people on here, like I've experimented with ChatGPT and some of the things in there, both, I would say partially for work, partially for fun, and just been kind of amazed at some of the things that it can do quickly. I certainly see some administrative opportunities that it can give us. We've used it to kind of generate imagery for not architecture, but maybe for presentations or inspiration. We definitely use it to refine kind of some writing. But I went probably 5+ years ago, I went to some seminars at an AIA convention and saw some of the power that I can do in terms of the amount of, like, say, test fits on a large urban site that it can do. I think everything's still in its infancy. I think we have to be really careful that as architects, we don't use AI in a manner that dumbs down and takes away not just the creative process, but the human process. What's gonna, what makes things enjoyable to be in, right? Like, we don't need our buildings to look like they were created, for a video game or just something that takes away all the joy from the space or from the building. But do I think that there's a day where there'll be 5 million BIM models on some kind of database, and it's smart enough to learn how to generate a BIM model from, say, a schematic design BIM model that you do, and take that and get it into DD and CD? Yeah, I do think that's coming. I'm scared of it. I'm scared of what it may do and what it may do to profession, how accurate it will be. Do I think it's 5 years away? Maybe the 10, 20, probably. So hopefully it's after I retire that's done, because guys like Mark will probably be screaming and yelling about inaccuracies in drawings if we do that, right? So I don't know. I think there's also, if those kinds of things happen in AI, I think there's definitely some questions around responsible control and liability and all the other things that we as architects and engineers have to deal with. So it's exciting and it's scary at the same time.
Yeah, I agree with that. Thank you.
Yep.
And Jenny, there are a few questions in the chat.
Okay, let me take a look. Who are you mentoring to take your place when you retire?
I can't say that.
Okay.
I'm far from retirement, I hope. But we have awesome people in our office. Like we have some amazing up and comers for sure. And what's really cool is that it's not just myself, Rick or Michelle mentoring people, but there's some people in our office that are really passionate about it and have on their own established things to mentor others, and then came and told us about it. They didn't need to be asked to do that. So that's pretty cool for us, right? Just to see that they're passionate about it and they're passionate about the firm. So it's been neat to see some of the things that they have done to try to foster that in others. And I'm not just talking about the day-to-day mentoring, teaching, but they have actually created some formal processes in the office for that. So I'm proud of them for that.
Definitely. It's amazing. Which non-architectural influences have had an impact on your work or design philosophy?
Non-architectural influences. I don't know. I think it's a hard thing to say what's non-architectural. I would say that impact on my work, both my parents worked very, very hard, right? And so they instilled a lot of work ethic in me that I think I still have and will always have. So I give them a ton of credit for that. I also did 2 study abroad summers when I was in college. And I think those 2 experiences, one was in Italy and Greece through the University of Arizona, which is an okay school that I know Mark went to. But that was a traveling program and we saw so much. And then the second year was in Denmark. It was called, at the time, it was Danish International Studies. I think it just goes by DIS now. And that was a long program. It was a resident program through University of Copenhagen. And then traveled during that, but then I also traveled for a few weeks afterwards on my own through Europe. And I think both of those experiences were huge in just kind of shaping me at the right time, because it was right as I was finishing grad school. And I think about those 2 experiences all the time, right? Like not a week goes by that I'm not thinking about some of those experiences. So that's huge, because I find whenever I'm talking to anybody who's a student, whether they're high school, college, or aspiring to be an architect, I talk to them a lot about those experiences because they're pretty special for me.
Awesome.
I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about culture and other things beyond architecture, right? So it was cool.
So those came after you graduated from UNLV, is that right?
I did. Those were during grad school that I did those.
Oh, through grad school. Okay. And where did you do grad school? In UNLV as well?
Yes.
Ah, okay. That's very nice.
All right, next question. What are some of the projects that you're working on right now and completed around town?
So right now, we're working on a veterans home, which is a really cool way of kind of honoring our heroes. And we're in sketch paper on that right now. So it's fun. We have some schools that are under construction. About 5 middle schools that are either under construction, 4 under construction, 1's in design. We do a lot of fire stations, some medical facilities for the culinary union. And just projects we've completed. I guess, certainly there's a lot of different things on our website, but we've done a lot of higher ed projects in the last few years at UNLV, Nevada State University. We're working on a project right now for CSN. We have a bit of work with pretty much all the public entities, outside the ones I mentioned too, with like City of Las Vegas, City of Henderson. On the private side, we're normally like 50-50 public-private. Right now, we definitely have more public work than we do private work, but we have a few projects on the private sector. Some we can talk about, some we can't, but we're pretty fortunate to have what we have.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think that shift right now with private work?
I think there was a lot of money put into the public sector, right, through a lot of the government programs, and I think the public entities, some of it was obvious which projects those would go towards, and others, I think they are getting creative about what they can spend that money on. Certainly, I think on the private side of things, all the things we all hear about with interest rates, and just kind of inflationary pressures, I think has slowed down a little bit, the private sector. I think some of the uncertainty in the private sector is what's slowed it down. So I think we're probably all seeing that. But from my perspective, Las Vegas and our community is still very, very busy, which has been nice for all of us, right? You never know when things are gonna kind of slow down or dip or go off a cliff. So you gotta be wise and take on what you can when you can.
Definitely. Do you have any tips on creating iconic designs?
Oh no. I mean, I think it's really important to always remember that what we do is not a monument to ourselves. It's, as I started talking about early, like listening to the client. I think if the process involves a goal that makes something iconic, that's different. But I think if the design process is pure and it establishes goals with the client, and you could work with the client each step of the way to do something special, sometimes I think you're going to end up with something that's more iconic. I mean, it's hard for me to say anything that we've done is iconic. I mean, I think I really hope that when the client looks at it, they see all the goals that we established and all the things that were important to them that resulted in that, but certainly never intentionally monumental without checking all those boxes.
Okay, great. I think we have time for one more question, and this is a good one to end on. What has been your favorite vacation, and what trip is still on your bucket list?
Favorite vacation, I love Hawaii. So I would say potentially even the last time I went to Hawaii with my family, went to the Big Island, which was new for us. We'd never been there. And we had an amazing 4th of July, which I'd say that is relevant right now because 4th of July is coming. So I'm thinking about that one that we had last year. As far as what trip's still on my bucket list, I don't know, I definitely want to get back to Europe. I definitely want to spend a lot of time traveling there, preferably with the family. And just kind of take a long trip where we can see a lot of things and see some of the places that I visited before, just to see if reinforce the memory a little bit.
Definitely. Awesome. Well, Mike, thank you so much. We greatly appreciate your time this morning, and everyone that joined us. Thank you.
Yeah, it's great to see a lot of names and faces, people I know. So thank you for joining.
Awesome.
Thank you,
Have
Mike.
a great day,
Thank you,
everybody.
Jenny.
See you later.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike. Enjoy the conversation.
Thank you.
Take
Bye,
care.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.